They're the largest restaurant chain in America. They're bigger than Subway, Starbucks, and McDonald's combined in unit
Combine all
locations.
3 of those giants.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, they're just if schools are in almost every town. They're in communities across the country, and they're serving the most important customers, kids, and they're serving core calories of kids. So our theory of change is if you can make that food available to kids, delicious, nutrient dense, really fueling health, then you can stop disease before it starts. You can support kids to have strong focus, strong mental health, strong academic success, strong performance on the field or in the gym, like, really achieving their dreams and nourishing healthy bodies and healthy minds and healthy lives.
My name's Matthew, and welcome to the Regeneration with My Health Forward. On this podcast, I discuss food farming and health stories to help regenerate America's health and soil. I'm the owner of My Health Forward, which is dedicated to connecting you to local food sources through my farm apps, as well as my regenerative goods like my heirloom seeds, teas, and tinctures. On today's episode, I'm joined by Nora LaTorre, who is the CEO of EatReal Certified, which is doing amazing work to transform school lunches and make them much healthier for school children. There's a call to action in this episode to help pass California Assembly Bill 1264, which will improve school lunches in California and set the framework for the entire country. Welcome, everybody. I'm Matthew from My Health Forward, and today I'm joined by Nora LaTorre, who's the founder and CEO of EatReal Certified. So thank you for joining me today, Nora. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I know this is something very near and dear to me. I've actually been working a lot the last year on trying to improve healthy food access at local schools, both in my area and across the country. The way I've been doing that is through starting school gardens, but I came across one of your videos a few months ago, and then your team got in touch with me, so I'm very excited, to speak to you today. And yeah, I don't know if you want to just share a little bit about your background and what Eat Real Certified does.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for rolling up your sleeves and volunteering. We really believe that the real food movement is being built by people like you that care about this, that talk about the power of school lunch, that get involved, that reach out and support their local schools. So thank you. Eat Real is a children's health nonprofit that believes that every child deserves a healthy, delicious future. We really were founded originally by doctors who saw how sick kids were getting, and they said, food is the biggest driver of sickness and of our kids getting things like prediabetes, obesity, cancers, fatty liver disease, chronic kidney disease. They saw these starting to rise in children more than a decade ago. And that's why they originally founded the nonprofit, was to really help stop disease before it starts and make sure that we're setting up kids for a healthy future. And so the nonprofit decided to go all in on focusing on school lunches as a way to get kids healthy and to really support their achievement and their long-term joy. And we decided to focus on schools because they're the largest restaurant chain in America. They're bigger than Subway, Starbucks, and McDonald's combined in unit
Combine all
locations.
3 of those giants.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, they're just if schools are in almost every town. They're in communities across the country, and they're serving the most important customers, kids, and they're serving core calories of kids. So our theory of change is if you can make that food available to kids, delicious, nutrient dense, really fueling health, then you can stop disease before it starts. You can support kids to have strong focus, strong mental health, strong academic success, strong performance on the field or in the gym, like, really achieving their dreams and nourishing healthy bodies and healthy minds and healthy lives.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of a core tenet for you, for Eat Real, for myself. I've also done a bit of work before, if you're familiar with Aaron Martin from Fresh RX,
Yes.
around, food being medicine, and
Yeah.
that is so important, and it plays such a big role in the development of kids, because
Yeah.
you're saying, they're at school 5 days a week for the majority of the year. And it's really easy to think about healthy food at home, what you're serving, for dinner on weekends. But it's really easy to think about then at school, and, with a lot of kids who don't have access to bringing lunches and relying on what is being served. So I'm kind of interested to know with Eat Real, because you kind of have like a 2-year certification that
Yeah.
schools go through. And from my understanding, you yourself don't necessarily like serve or supply the food. You just kind of work with them on reorienting their systems so that they can better source and serve food. So kind of explain a little bit more about that.
Correct. So we started with helping one district, 50,000 kids, and now we just reached half a million kids in 10 states. We went from one state to 10 states. And then what took us about 5 years, we're about to do in one. We're about to reach a million kids in 20 states this coming school
Wow.
year. We're on track. We just announced today that we reached 18 states and 800,000 kids. And when we say that we reached these communities, it means that we've actually partnered with the school district, the entire school district, and their food service director or their nutrition director. And they're the real hero in this story. A lot of them call themselves EatRealies, but they partnered with our organization and our team to get EatReal certified. And that means that we come in and we do an assessment against our 10 science-based standards that look at everything from sugar to processing levels, harmful ingredients to quality proteins, minimally processing, food waste, student variety and student choice, student engagement, and really holistically look at the nutrition and the sustainability of the program, how local it is, how sustainable it is. And then we give them a score, and then we understand their goals, their priorities, their constraints, their ecosystem, what's nearby, what farmers, what other nonprofits do they work with, like what does their world look like, and what are their strategic goals, and what are the demands of their community, of their
Mhm.
students, um, and then we give them a score and we help them make the changes and we help them achieve certification and get on a path. So that's sometimes, that's not us sourcing the meals, it's
Mhm.
helping them source those meals or develop those relationships with local farmers or work with their suppliers to clean up this label or swap out this product. And so it's really about supporting that local hero and that local change maker with the data, with the insights, with the map, and with the support and the fun around them and the celebration to make systems change and for them to really make that school restaurant the best restaurant in town and to make it so that their customers are happy, that so that they increase their customers, they call it student participation, to make sure
Mhm.
more kids are eating school lunch, enjoying school lunch, and participating. And what's really powerful is we've seen that it's a better business model for our school partners, that they're able to increase participation. And we're seeing reports from teachers about how their kids are focusing better in class. The farmers are telling us that they're loving it, and they have a year, almost year round, incredible buying partner, that largest restaurant locally. So we're seeing those buying dollars from a school stay in the community and support those local family farmers. So just win 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 for our school leaders, for communities, for the parents, for the students, the teachers, and for farmers.
Yeah, and that's really a big win because what you almost do is like consulting where you come in
Mhm.
and then you put all those systems in place so that that lasting impact and change can be there. Because realistically, there's no way for you to be working continually with every school district across America. But you kind of identified your like your core competency of what you're able to do with transforming all these individual school districts.
Mhm.
And I'm interested to know from a lot of your conversations, the work you've done, are a lot of the resources there for you to be working with, say, every school district across the country right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're philanthropically funded. We're a nonprofit, so we don't have the funding yet to work with every school
Mhm.
district, and we really want to set it up so that this is more the state and national policy and a
Okay.
better. We're trying to show that there's a better way to make school food happen, and it's possible, and it's happening. It's starting to happen around the country. So we should reach we are, we're going to be reaching more and more schools and showing
Mhm.
that this is more and more possible. And so we do know that we're showing that this can work up in Alaska. This works down in Georgia. This works in Michigan. Like this can work across the entire country, and communities around our country want this, and
Yes.
it's feasible. It looks a little bit different depending on where it is, right?
Mhm.
It's like so some schools might have a central kitchen, some might not. And sometimes you don't want a central kitchen. You want kitchens in each individual school. Sometimes they have a chef, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have a farmer. Like sometimes they have a local food hub, sometimes they don't. So it's really specialized, but
Yes,
what we're
very
seeing is
individualized.
consistently every district can make change, can move towards EatReal certification, can move from harmful ultra processed foods to real foods, can move towards food that's delicious, that's more appetizing to the students, that's more relevant to them, that's cool. I just had birria yesterday in a school and it was so good. It was like
I
so,
cannot
so, so good.
imagine having that in a school. Yeah.
Local beef birria, and then it had jalapeno crema, and it was like and then they had a lettuce and onions, and then they had the pretty salad bar with stone fruit, which I grew up in Minnesota did not have. Like I did,
Huh.
and it was like just abundant. It was
Mhm.
beautiful, and a kid was making themselves spa water. They took some cucumbers off the salad bar and then was mixing with water, which is amazing and so nourishing. And kids were, having their smoothies, and like it was just the vibes were high and it was delicious. And they were showing that, they made change over the last couple of years with us, and it can happen pretty quickly and it can happen throughout our country. And that's really
Yeah.
exciting to me. Like we're partnering with people in West Virginia, with Andy Pence in West Virginia, we're launching in Virginia. Like we are launching throughout the country, and there are leaders in Oklahoma who I'm so excited
Mhm.
about. We're launching throughout the country, and these leaders are showing that it's possible in their communities, and they're doing it differently for their communities and what their communities need, but they're making it happen, and they're moving towards more real food, re-regionalizing the food system, and showing the power of school meals.
Yeah, and that's so exciting because that's something that I talk a lot about too is localizing food supply chains. And when you have more of that local and regional aspect, that's really better for the farmer, it's better for the
Yeah.
community, it's better for the school teachers, the school children. And it's really exciting to see, like, one of the big things I'm hearing is just how excited these kids are for lunch every day. And I know that's probably not a common experience, previous to you working in schools and for a lot of other schools is
Yeah.
can almost be a time of, I don't want to say dread, but it's like some
Yeah.
places you have 22,
Stressful.
25 minutes, it's rushed. The food is kind of the same type of thing every day. It's just like chicken nuggets, a little bit
Yeah.
of carton of this, and kind of those ultra processed foods that aren't going to be best long term for the kids. So it's really exciting to see that not only is it healthy, but they're actually looking forward to it. And I know
Yeah.
it's very differentiated based off of the exact location, but kind of what's a before and after look like in terms of, the kids are at lunch, they're going to get their food. What would they expect? I know it's not the same for each individual place, but
Yeah.
before and after, what might that expect to look like?
And we're doing more and more of those before and after, and we have the data, like we see the before and
Hmm.
after. But when I grew up on in Minnesota, it was like a lot of beige food.
Hmm.
And or even, my kid's school is not EatReal certified yet. I need to work on it. All the parents are telling me. But pizza with cheese like cheese, not that much cheese in the cheese, and then like a lot of dough conditioners and preservatives. Like the ingredients list is longer than like,
Hmm.
a makeup ingredient list is like so long. And then it's in a plastic bag that's heated, that's then like probably coming with a side of, yeah, BPA and
Microplastics
micro
and PFAS.
nanoplastics.
Yeah.
So like that is still being served. I saw that being served when I volunteered at my kids' school lunch.
Hmm.
And so that happens, or like there was the WhatsApp groups and parents they're like there's like a lot of memes right now about how wild WhatsApp groups are, just in terms of parents like frustrated or confused, and like
Yeah.
it's like parents are really involved, really active, which I get, and the WhatsApp groups that I'm in are very active, and they're like talking about the mostly sugar yogurt that's in there that their kids eating every single day, and how do they get in our schools then switch to things like for example, before and after that, those two items in our
Hmm.
schools that are EREL certified, they move toward, it's about the better, more delicious, more nutrient dense, more
Yeah.
local, cleaner version of that. So like kids giving them the yogurt parfait, but our schools are serving Greek yogurt parfaits, high protein. They are serving, some of them are serving organic, like local dairy yogurts, and then they add in cut fruit. And sometimes they, like I was at Coopville Unified, which is a
Hmm.
district on an island off of Seattle in Washington, and they had preserved raspberries. They had a school garden where they picked the raspberries and then they froze them to preserve them to reduce food waste. And then they put those on the bar where then you could add in to your
That's amazing.
parfait or whatnot. So that's just an example of like moving from the super sugary version to still a tasty, delightful version, but with more nutrients, it's more local, et cetera. Or the pizza, one of our schools just served up in Morgan Hill Unified. I was just there, and they had a focaccia, which, like, I mean, I don't know how old I was when I tried focaccia. I like maybe I'm backpacking in Europe for the first time and tried
Yeah.
focaccia. Like, could not try focaccia, and they had a focaccia, and it was like a sourdough focaccia. It smelled so good, and they had uh beef, local sustainable beef from Carrie Richards Ranch up in Nevada City, which is like hawks flying overhead, regenerative ag, beautiful ranch, family, multi-generation, fourth generation family farm and ranch. 100 those cows graze on 100 types of native grasses. It's super omega rich beef, and so beef crumble with that beef, and then kale crumble. Again, that's like kind of a California thing. I feel like people
Mhm.
don't know, but kale is like trending, and like that was the pizza with like scratch made tomato marinara, and it was so good, and it was
That sounds
pizza, but like
phenomenal.
pizza done like next level, and then there was just kids enjoying it, loving it, and it was so cool. So those are just two examples of just moving from more of a packaged, shelf stable, like long shelf life food you could send to space versus like local family farm, like kind of freshly made deliciousness. And it
Yeah.
takes time. Sometimes they also are working with a local vendor, like they work with
Mhm.
a local baker and they get a pizza crust from them and it's amazing. They don't scratch make it, but they get it from a local supplier, but they've narrowed down that ingredient list or made it just more nutrient dense.
Yeah, yeah, it'll have more micronutrients, it'll be more satiating, and then the kids won't, overeat. They won't be coming home with nutrient deficiencies that over time can, lead to different health issues. So that's really exciting to see. And I'm kind of amazed at how big of an impact things like this have on, the children's trajectory. Because I've seen at places, schools where I've just been volunteering and helping them start gardens over the course of just a year, how much more excited that they are about growing food, gardening, and how it kind of spreads into different parts of their life, and that's something that they'll always then keep with them. I expect very few of them to stay in food, farming, agriculture, anything like that, but they'll always keep that with them, and it's so important, just culturally and socially, around food and around meals. And so when you're eating things that are whole and nourishing, that plays a big part versus if everyone just has all these different, hyper processed, ultra processed snacks that they're having, that are going to leave them just hungry. And it's always just about the, label. This is really about the whole foods. And so
Yeah.
I'd read that there's something in California you're working on,
Mhm.
and I know California has led the way with a number of other um, restrictions on like food additives and food dyes across the state and in schools. And then they're coming out with this new one that you're working on, the Assembly Bill 1264. So, what's going on with that?
Yeah, so we're really excited to work in a grassroots way with schools across the country to show what's possible and then to raise awareness and cultural awareness and then to really take that data and that passion and that proof and then bring it to lawmakers to improve and innovate our state policies and our national policies. Like we can go school district by school district, but can we also accelerate by
Hmm.
making strategic investments at the state level and investments at the national level? We think yes. And so we've been seeing that actually, the New York Times just covered that there's the first sugar standard ever in America's history that was just rolled out in school food, and EatReal was a champion of that early on. So,
Congratulations. Yeah.
and that was about we already are working to remove in one of our districts. Schools kids eat a bathtub of added sugar a
Yeah.
year. They drink a bathtub of added sugar, and one of our schools removed 34 pounds of sugar per student per year. Like we're seeing schools
That's a
make
crazy
with those like
stat.
simple, delicious swaps. Like it was no
Yeah.
compromise. It was so then we moved that into and helped pass the first sugar bill, and then we helped pass the first food dye bill, and then helped pass it in West Virginia, and now it's passing in multiple states, and then the FDA came out and made a stance. Um, so we're seeing this happen. And what's really exciting is the next frontier is really around AB 1264, which is championed by Assemblymember Gabriel.
Hmm.
What's really exciting is that as lawmakers working across the aisle to come together to say we want to protect our children's health. And what the bill does is that for the first time, it will define what are the most harmful ultra processed foods for kids and then protect kids at school from receiving those items. So it'll then hold vendors accountable to not offering products that are high in sugar, salt, fat, and have harmful ingredients that are proven to be like carcinogens, cancer causing,
Hmm.
issue ingredients that are like with strong scientific evidence that they're dangerous for kids. And so it'll say, it's about vendor accountability. Like we know those vendors can show up in other countries and in other um, industries and other like food service settings with better products show up for with those better items for our kids in schools. And then it helps those like small, more local regional suppliers as well wait and offer those better for you items. So we're really excited about this bill. It's really close. Like knocking on wood. It's really close to passing. It has been a behemoth lift. It has been
Hmm.
people coming together, chefs, um, Andrew Zimmern did a piece about this, who's
Yep, I saw that
incredible, who's on
video.
yeah, he's incredible. We had farmers, we had Carrie Richards came to meet with lawmakers. We had it's really a partnership with EWG and food fight or different organizations coming together, and lawmakers, and I feel like hope is possible on this one and needs to get through the Senate, through the House, and to the governor's desk, and we're close. People can still like it's a pivotal moment, and right now, it's being considered, and so we hope that people will encourage its passage and inspire the governor to sign it, so that California can make history once again, and we can move this nationally.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And so for everyone listening, California resident or not, who should they be calling? Should it be
Yeah,
you said?
we have been working tirelessly on AB 1264, and we're so excited because it just passed the House and the Senate, and it's going to the governor's desk. It's going to Governor Newsom's desk, and we need people to reach out to the governor to, you can mention on Instagram, DM, etc. Really reach out and make a post about why you believe in AB 1264 and how it protects kids from harmful ultra processed foods, and it's the right step for California, and say, please, Governor Newsom, support this bill. And so I think that would be incredible if people can help us finish line this bill. Let's make history in California and make our state, our country, and we can even inspire the world to be healthier and to protect our kids.
Yes, and this will drastically improve the health and quality of school lunches in California. And to anyone listening, if your kids are not in California or you don't even have kids whatsoever, please still make the call because introducing this will kind of set a framework, as we've seen with a number of other health related bills and issues for the rest of the country. So this will have a lasting impact. And I just want to say thank you again to Nora for all the work her and EatReal have been doing on this. So besides this one bill, which we're hoping will be
Encourage the governor to sign
yes,
this
encourage
bill.
the governor, and we're hoping beyond this one bill, though, people listening who they're probably going to be really excited and passionate about this. They want to make the lunches at their kids' schools healthier. What exactly can they do? How could they get in contact with Eat Real, or what could they do, beyond that if the connection isn't there yet?
Yeah, we just had a student, Anya, who helped champion and bring our program to Virginia. Students' voices matter. We had a parent, Lynn Choi, in Southern California, who just told her food service director, her nutrition director, who's amazing, that about Eat Real, and she signed up for a program in 12 hours. So every call matters a lot. And so what people can do is they can go to eatreal.org/parents. And
Hmm.
there's a guide about how you can get your school district involved. And it's really about reaching out to your school district, finding out who's your food service director or nutrition director, thanking them because it's a big, hard job and they
Yes.
work really hard to serve kids the best food possible. And they do care a lot about their kids. So thanking them, leading with gratitude, and then introducing Eat Real as a potential resource. And that's one way that people can get involved. I think is like figure out if they can get their school district involved or like share Eat Real as a potential resource without too much pressure, but just as a positive resource. And then number two, they can sign up for our newsletter. They can follow us on social media. We're at Eat Real Certified on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I'm at Nourished with Nora. I have my own podcast, and then I have my Instagram, Nourished with Nora, and I'm Nora LaTorre on LinkedIn. So they can find Eat Real on social. They can find me on social. They can sign up for our newsletter at www.eatreal.org and go and sign up for our newsletter so that they can be updated on call to actions. They can be updated on the progress that we're making, which states we're launching in where, etc. Just really by joining that newsletter, they're joining the community and going to be able to tune into what's happening. So I think that's a big way. And then we are funded by individuals that believe in
Hmm.
this nonprofit's ability to make an impact. It's why we've gone from 50,000 kids to 1 million kids, and almost with a little more donor support. So people can also donate online at our website at eatreal.org. And every gift really matters, whether that's a couple dollars a month or maybe someone's listening knows a family foundation or knows a
Hmm.
philanthropist that wants a high impact, get things done nonprofit to donate their philanthropic dollars to. And we have people that just make introductions for us. So I think people joining the conversation online, getting their school district involved, and helping us fundraise for this small but mighty nonprofit would be huge.
Yes, well, I know my listeners, they are quite used to kind of my call to actions,
Yes.
and a lot of them really care deeply about these things. So to everyone listening, please follow along and do that. And I know for me, it also goes without saying that if there's anybody listening in and you also are trying to start school gardens, please reach out to me about that. If you need heirloom seed donation, anything else, please contact me. And this is really our first time talking, Nora and I, but I'm sure we're going to be talking again soon. And I'm sure we're going to figure out a way for me to get heirloom seeds through them to school districts as well to kind of tie in more school gardens. But
Yes,
I
come have
wanted to
school
say
lunch with us. Come have school lunch
yes,
with us. Let's
yes,
do it.
absolutely. I'm already going to be contacting some of the superintendents in my area about this and trying to see what
Awesome.
I can do. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time, Nora. I know you have to go speak because you're trying to get stuff done, which is amazing. But just wanted to say thank you very much for the work you're doing and for taking the time to talk to me today. If there's anything else you'd like to share, I'll let you close with it.
Just thank you. You give me hope, and people really caring about this is what will build this movement. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, and thank you everyone for listening in.